Why is Frederic Chopin's heart in this jar 1,000 miles away from the rest of his body in Paris? See, in addition to being a world-class composer, Chopin was also a world-class weakling. He had health issues his entire life, including swollen lymph nodes, digestive issues, swollen lymph nodes. I wrote that one down twice, notice that. He was so sick that as an adult, he weighed less than 100 pounds. Dude, I have lost 100 pounds. Because he was so close to keeling over at any point in time, he also developed a very strong fear of being buried alive. In 1849, knowing that he was about to die, he arranged his funeral and told his sister to make sure that when he did pass, to make sure that they removed his heart. And sure enough, on the 17th of October, 1849, Frederic Chopin died, and according to his wishes, his heart was removed and placed in a hermetically sealed jar filled with some kind of alcohol, probably cognac. So after this, the story gets a little bit murky because every single source says roughly the same thing. Chopin's sister, who has a name, placed the literal jar of hearts in a small ebony casket, which she then placed in a larger box, which she then hid underneath her skirt. Now, why did this need to be hidden? I don't know. I don't know if it was illegal to like transport body parts across borders at the time. I don't know if they were just searching for it because, you know, Chopin. I've looked. I couldn't find any information. I'm a flawed man. I admit defeat on this one. But by whatever method, the heart wound up in Warsaw at the sister's house, where it stayed for a period of time. Now, this is also a little bit murky, but at some point, they tried to give the heart to the local church, who had the very, reasonable reaction of, oh my God, why are you giving us body parts? And because of this weird situation, the heart just kind of stayed in the unmarked spot in the catacombs for decades. The only reason why we know about this heart today, some journalist named Adam Plug was lurking around in the catacombs, and he came upon this heart and was like, hey Lord, you got Chopin's heart in here. And then he wrote about it in the published journal, and it drew up this national fervor for the item, so people got together, and eventually the church was like, fine, we will build a memorial to this guy. So giving way to public pressure in 1880, the heart was officially consecrated and displayed in the church behind a marble tablet dedicated to Chopin's memory with an inscription from Matthew 6:21, which reads, for where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. Aww. And it was right around this time that Chopin's heart kind of became a pretty big deal. See, if you scroll over to the Polish history 1795 to 1918 page on the old Wikipedia, you'll see that Poland wasn't actually a country at this point. It was not a country. And in this trying time, one of the few public monuments that was allowed to exist was Chopin's heart, which is pretty cool for Chopin and his organs. But in 1918, Poland did become a nation. And if this was a happy story, this is where this would end. But it's not. In 1939, the bad guys in every story that they show up in, the Nazis, decided to wreck Poland. And one of the ways that they tried to do this was by destroying the public's memory of the folk hero of Poland, Chopin, by banning all of his music, destroying his museums, and destroying his monuments. And it was during this period that they took the heart out of the church under the guise of safekeeping. The heart got passed around the Nazi ranks until it wound up in the hands of an SS commander, and this is likely where this story could have ended. Just one of the countless pieces of art and memorabilia that got lost during the Nazi control. However, as things became more and more obvious that, starting a war with the entire world was maybe not the greatest idea, the Nazis came up with the idea of giving back the heart to the Polish people to, win over some goodwill. The old, I know we're literally destroying every piece of your country, but here's this heart back. That's an equal trade, said everybody. But thankfully, the spotlights that they acquired for the propaganda piece failed during the event, so no usable piece of propaganda was produced. And once the heart was back in Polish hands, they just hid it because, Nazis. But once the war ended, arrangements were made for the heart to be transferred back to the church for public viewing. And on October 17th, 1945, the 96th anniversary of Chopin's death, a parade car carrying the heart drove through the Polish countryside, stopping in Chopin's hometown village, and eventually wound up in Warsaw with this huge celebration with the President of Poland in attendance. And finally, the heart was returned back to the pillar in Holy Cross Church in Warsaw, Poland, where it has remained ever since. This is a happy story. And in 2014, a group of scientists and officials opened up the monument in the middle of the night and took thousands of photos to hopefully determine what exactly Chopin did die from. And after all the hypothesizing over the years, it was determined that Frederic Chopin, in fact, Died from tuberculosis, like they always thought that he did. See, that is exhibit A in this photo. You open up your chest cavity, you find one of them on your heart, brother, you know you got some of that TB. Get checked, all I'm saying. Get checked. For more heart-preserving content, watch this video next.